Hi, welcome back. We're gonna talk about something a little bit different today. We're gonna talk about the movie Obsession, okay? Because people are fucking confused and seem to think that the movie Obsession has anything to do with manifestation. And it doesn't. I've already seen the chatter online of people being like, manifesting, this is what people want. They want this person to just be in love with them. Mm-mm. That's not what this is, and if you think that's what this is, you're confused, and let me explain why. So, the movie Obsession, I'm gonna give spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie, or if you're gonna watch it or you want to, I'm just gonna warn you that there'll be spoilers. I've watched it twice. From a horror movie standpoint, fabulous. I loved it. Loved it. Um, I did not expect it to escalate that much. I know this doesn't have anything to do with manifestation, but let's give the movie some credit here. When she smashes her head through the window and smacks that girl's face off a brick, chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. Fantastic. Shock. And not a lot of horror movies shock me. I don't often see one that is good that I decide to watch again 2 nights later. So if you love horror movies, highly recommend. And then I'm going to tell you why, if you're into manifestation and you're worried this movie might trigger you, why it shouldn't, and how it has nothing to do with manifestation. And I think explaining some of these concepts in the context of the movie are helpful for people because there is a misunderstanding of how this works. So in the movie is about a guy, and he's a loser, right? You know, he lives in his, like, he just seems like a nice guy, kind of losery guy, obviously hasn't had a lot of things with girls, like, he's very much portrayed like that, and he is in love, he thinks he's in love with, and so that's the other thing, is he thinks he's in love with this girl. He's clearly not in love with her. He's in love with the idea of her and a relationship with her. He's obviously attracted to her, but it's probably much more of an infatuation with his friend. And so he wants to ask her out on a date. He's really nervous. His buddy's trying to talk him out of it, blah, 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 blah. He goes to his shop and and like, she's kind of hinting that she's not into him. She says, you know, like, he's kind of like her brother, you like, those kind of things. And, so he goes to a, like a witchy kind of shop, and he finds this little, it's called the One Wish Willow, and apparently you break it, you make a wish, and whatever you wish comes true. So they have an interaction. She comes up to the car, and she's like, do you like me? And he's like, no, we're just friends. And then she walks back to the house, and he's like, fuck, I'm an idiot, kind of like thing, because he didn't tell her he liked her. So he takes the One Wish Willow, and he breaks it, and he says, I wish Nikki would love me more than anyone in the world. Now, I'm going to tell you why this has nothing to do with manifestation. Number one, he is deciding that she's just going to love him more than anyone else in the world. He's not asking for them to fall in love or any of those things. I want her to love me more than anyone else in the world, which implies that she would love him more than she loves herself. And that's the fucking opposite of manifestation. We're teaching you to love yourself first, okay? So that's the number one problem there. The other issue is, as the movie progresses, you can see how the fact that he doesn't actually love her is making her insane, because she loves him because of the spell. She loves him more than anything else in the world. So every time he acts a little bit to her, she loses her fucking mind, because he doesn't really love her and whatever. So towards the end of the movie, shit gets insane, but she gets to a point where she breaks another one. He brings home more One Wish Willows. He's trying to solve the problem. So she breaks it, and she wishes he would love her as much as anyone else in the world. And at that point, for a couple of moments of the movie, I don't want to say kind of what happens, because I don't want to spoil too much in case you do want to watch. But they're in love for those couple of moments of the movie, and they're both happy because they're both loving each other as much as they love each other. They're loving each other the same. It's mutual. So that right there kind of tells you how this has nothing to do with manifestation, and people are coming confused with what people who are manifesting actually are trying to do. Now, am I saying that there aren't people out there who are obsessed with a person and then trying to manifest them? Yeah, I'm sure there is, but they will never be successful, because that's not how this works. This isn't a wish. This isn't magic. This isn't I can make somebody love me that way. This is becoming a version of yourself where that person would naturally want to love you and be in a relationship with you. So you're becoming a person that person would choose. You're not wishing that person just loves you. Do you understand what I'm putting down? So I have some talking points, obviously, otherwise I'm going to get it out in left field and all over the place. But the internet has somehow made believe, like, anxiety and alignment and all of these things, there's just so much chatter, and I just want to make it very clear that nobody who is teaching manifestation is thinking of outcomes like this. And I know there's a manifestation creator on TikTok who will lose his mind if you have the affirmation, "My SP is obsessed with me," because he thinks you're gonna manifest the obsession movie. Do you believe that's what that word means, or do you do you just mean that person loves you and shows up for you and wants to do everything for you? And you love them too, and reciprocate it back. It's just not one-sided. You're not trying to bring someone in to fucking do everything for you. Cook your cat. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Food critic. So, like, because everyone's saying, like, he wishes for this person to be in love with him, and then it's a disaster, but they're not really talking about why it's a disaster. So, problem number one, like I was saying, he doesn't actually love her. He was looking for validation. He wanted to win. He wanted to feel chosen, and those things aren't love. Those things come from you. So you choose that I'm validated, you choose that you're a winner, you choose that you're chosen, and then it'll naturally occur out here in reality. We're not forcing people to love us. Because his wish was ego, based in ego. And when we're doing manifestation, if you've been in the community, you understand that we don't manifest from our ego, because our ego is like the 3D and us and human and here. We manifest from our state, our higher self, which is separate from ego. And as you go along this journey, you'll really start to feel that separation between ego and your higher self and your body. And so, you know, he made this wish from his ego. He wasn't making this wish like, you know, he didn't say, I want to become the person that Nikki could naturally fall in love with. He said, I want her to love me more than anyone else in the world, regardless of who I am or what I'm doing and how shitty I act. And, yeah. So, like, and I think this happens in the manifestation community too. I'm not saying that when people don't start out, they're not feeling this level of desperation or this level of love for somebody. It is quite possible, but as you go on this journey, it teaches you not to be like that, because you can't depend on someone else to make you happy. You got to be happy on your own. You've got to love yourself on your own, and that's how we bring that love to us from the people. We don't, it's not forcing, we're not wishing, we're not making people do anything, we're not taking away anyone's free will. We're becoming the version of ourselves where that person naturally wants to choose us. Okay? So, problem 2. Again, like I said, he wished she would love him more than anything. Think of how fucked up that is. Think of how fucked up it is to wish that someone would love you more than anything in the world. More than their own kids, more than themselves. How you ask someone to love... If someone doesn't love themselves, they're gonna do a fucking terrible time of loving you. I'll tell you that. So, when it was just very selfish. It was a very selfish wish. It was about him and what he wanted, and I want her to love me more than she loves herself. So, when you watch the movie and you see something like... So he leaves to go to work. They work together, but she's off this day, so he's going to work. She stays, and he leaves, and he walks out the door, and they just show her, and she's just like, I can't even do it. It's so fucking creepy. She's like, and squints her eyes, and stands at the door all fucking day, and shits and pisses herself, and throws up all over herself, because she won't move until he comes back home. because he said, I want her to love me more than anything in the world. So she won't even go and shower if he's not present. She won't do anything for herself because her whole existence, he wished, was to love her. And that's, nobody wants that. I mean, I'm sure there's people who want that. Nobody healthy wants anything like that. And learning manifestation is learning about unconditional love. And yeah, we don't want that. Nobody wants that. So he wished for her to love him more than her own happiness, more than her own dreams, and more than her own life. And that's not romance. That's not love. That's emotional dependence. So if you, and like, we can tell by his wish when he said, I want them to love me more than anything, he's already admitted that he doesn't love himself enough. Because he doesn't think he's good enough to even have a chance with her, that she has to love him more than anything else in the entire world. So you can already see all of the problems with his wish, what he was doing, and it's not comparable to what manifestation is at all. We're becoming the people who naturally get the things that we want. We're not forcing anyone, and we're not taking anyone's free will away. And that is a huge issue with the manifestation community. When people come in and they talk about free will and are we taking people's free will again? No. So in your reality, you're in your own reality bubble, and everyone you interact with is a reflection of you, okay? And so all you're doing is changing to become the version of yourself who naturally gets selected by the version of your person who wants to be with you. It's no one's free will is being taken away. None of that is happening. It is just the choice of who I want to be and what relationship I want to be, and then becoming that person so that your person meets you there. That's it. You're not forcing anybody. Nothing is against anyone's free will. That person is naturally choosing you and showing up and wanting to be with you in a mutual, loving, committed or whatever you want. Whatever you want, a fuck buddy, they'll show up as a fuck buddy. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is that you want with that person, it's this. But it's not obsession. It's not this movie. This is not what's happening with manifestation. And I just want to nip it in the butt because I've already seen the comments. And as more people watch the movie, as people who are newer to manifesting watch Obsession and get ideas in their head about the things in the movie and misunderstand. And then the other thing is, a lot of women watch some of Nikki's actions in that movie and then also feel, how do I put this, like recognizing a way they used to be, you know, in themselves, like not as an extreme, I would say, but, you know, say for example, if you were in a relationship before with somebody and then that you weren't with that person and you just kind of not do anything, like you just lay in your bed and watch TV unless that you were with that person, that's that kind of thing, right? When that person's not here, you don't feel like you can function. That's not what manifesting is. We're becoming the people who just know our people love us, and then we're doing whatever the fuck we want in the meantime until they show up. We're not cooking cats and duct taping doors closed and doing any of that crazy shit. So what manifestation actually is, what I've been saying, it isn't convincing someone. It's not controlling anybody. It's not making someone obsessed with you. It's not making someone need with you. It's becoming the version of yourself that naturally experiences the relationship you want. Because when you change who you're being to become this other version, reality has to naturally reflect you. It's a law. So when you become the version of yourself who could naturally be in that relationship, everything will unfold for you to have that relationship. It has nothing to do with, I wish that person loved me more than anything in the world, because that's not, we're not wishing. No. And this, I see people all the time, they think this is like fucking a magic trick or like a wish or like you're controlling people or like, it's just becoming the version of yourself who gets what you want and gets what you want in every area of your life. Because when you start changing who you are, you know, because most people, they find manifestation because of an SP, because they got broken up with and they want that person back, and so they're on the internet, on Reddit. How do I get my ex back? How do I get him back? I can't live without him. Blah, blah, blah. And that's usually, well, for me, it was tarot manifestation. Okay? witchcraft, tarot spells, manifestation. So you can see people get into this because they want a person. And so that seems like this obsession thing, right? Because they are like, I need that person, I can't live without them. But as they find manifestation, as they start getting into this, and if they're doing it right and really learning about it, they're learning that they're changing their whole life. Everything changes about you. All your relationships change, your finances change, the way you present yourself, the way you feel, the way you think, every single thing changes about you because you're changing who you are. This isn't... And then you realize, as you go further and further down the road, and this pisses people off, so please don't get mad at me, because I used to hate when people said this, when they were like, you'll realize that the journey was really always about you and never about your person. And I'd always be like, fuck you, I want my person now. They were right. If the manifestation gods came down and right now and said, you could have this, but you have to go back to being the person you were when you started this journey, I'll wait. I'll wait for it. I don't want it right now, because that's hell. That old version of me is a hellscape, and I will not be going back there for anything. No, you can't make me go back. And honestly, it's not possible to go back, because through manifestation, neuroplasticity, reprogramming your brain, those pathways are fucking gone. I can't even be her anymore. I can think back to how I used to act and be like, girl, what would you do it? But I cannot access that version of me who I used to be anymore, because I've changed so drastically. And that is the best thing about this. And so when you see people who are new to the community and they're hard on their SP, very sad and trying to figure things out, it could seem like this. It could seem like obsession. It could seem like a wish. But as they go down their journey, and anyone who gets what they want and is successful realizes what I just told you, that it was always about you, because you need to become the version of yourself who can sustain that relationship and keep it, and you can't do that if you're still being your old self. And so you quickly, maybe not quickly, for some quickly, for others not so quickly, learn that this isn't wishful thinking, this isn't a magic trick, this isn't about being obsessed with someone, this is about true unconditional love. And a lot of people, they get into manifestation, so they have a breakup with a person and they can't handle it, they're so devastated, whatever, so they get into manifestation. And then a lot of times they get down the road of improving themselves and becoming something different, and they'll be like, what the fuck did I want to be with that person at all? And it's funny, because that happened to me. My first SP, that I got into manifesting for is not the SP that I have now. And I think back to him and I'm like, what the fuck did I even want with that guy? Like, I didn't, ew. And it's just because I've changed so much. And at the time, I thought that was all there was available to me, and I couldn't have the things that I wanted. And so I was, settling for this person who I thought would make me happy, and I would have never been happy. And so it's just about growth. It's about becoming the person. It's about finding yourself and who you are. It's not about being obsessed. It's really not, because you'll never manifest what you want from a state like what's happening in this movie. You could never. Healthy love doesn't look like obsession, right? So people confuse intensity with love a lot of the times. But real love says, I want you to have your own life. I want you to have your own friends. I want you to have hobbies. I want you to be happy, and I'll still choose you, right? And that's completely different from I need you and you need me. And the movie is very much like, he can't go to the bathroom without her fucking losing her mind. Like, he's like, I had to go to the bathroom. She's like, let me in the bathroom. It's so good. My favorite at the restaurant. I watched so they're like at a restaurant, he asks her a question and she freaks out. She's like, no, and then she like stands up, she's like, I thought we were having a nice time in the middle of a fucking restaurant. And I'm watching this and I'm just like, oh my god, she's so fucking crazy. But I'm thinking, if I was in that restaurant, oh my god, I'd have stopped chewing my food. What's going on over there? You gotta hear this. Like, the movie was fantastic. I loved it. That director, I can't wait to see more stuff from him. Don't fucking disappoint me, man. That was amazing. Anyways, back to manifestation. So when we're talking about manifestation, we're talking about how reality is your reflection. So everything around you, it's a mirror. It's just reflecting back to you your beliefs, who you believe you are, what you believe about other people, what you believe about relationships, what you believe about the world. All of that's just being reflected back to you when it comes to manifestation. So ask yourself honestly, would you want someone whose identity revolved around you? Probably not. You'd feel trapped. Like our character in the story does. He feels trapped. He feels like he can't go anywhere. He feels like he can't do anything. And he just wants her to be normal. Be normal, Nikki. Because you feel as if you're responsible for this person's happiness. And that's exactly why obsession feels heavy in relationships. Because so there's a point in the call where he calls like the company, the One Wish Willow company, for help because he knows shit is fucked up. And the guy gets on the phone and he's like, he's like, do you want to cancel your wish? And he's like, no, I want to change it. So this piece of shit still wants this disaster and not let her be free and not let her choose her own thing. He's a fucking villain. So and I know there's discourse on the internet. He's come out and said he's supposed to be the villain, and then other people are arguing about it. He is clearly the villain. Okay? He does not try to help her. He keeps fucking her after she cooks his cat. Like, it's just, it's too much. He's too much. But he's very much like, he gets told, so he calls and he's like, I want to change it. Like, and the guy's like, you can't change it. It's just is what it is. And he's like, well, what do I do? I can't cancel it. Like, what do I do? And the guy's like, well, you could die, or, you kind of have a moral obligation to stay with her forever because it was your wish. So, and I think too, when people don't understand manifestation and they get into it and they're trying to manifest a person, they're worried, something like this could happen, that they're going to bring this person in, but this person's going to be a piece of shit. And that's not how this works at all. So manifestations, again, like I've made very clear, about finding yourself and becoming the version of yourself who naturally is in a relationship that you want. So the goal isn't, they can't eat without me, they can't sleep without me, they're obsessed. The goal is they love me and they choose me. Like, I don't want some man crawled up my ass every 5 minutes. I like to be alone sometimes, and I want to be able to go and do my own thing. Like, if you think I'm not going snowboarding every fucking weekend this winter, you can come, but I'm going. And sometimes I'm going to want to go alone. Because when you're in a relationship with someone, it's nice to have that relationship. You always know there's a person who's there for you. It's like, in my mind, in a relationship with someone, when you're in that, loving, committed relationship with someone, it's just like you have a tether between you all the time. So no matter where you are, their presence is with you. They love you. Hey, I want to talk to them. I call, pick up the phone, but we might be doing different things. We obviously both have different, you have a job, you go to your job, you've got your friends, you hang out with your friends, but you have that connection with them, but you can separate and go and do your own things. And that's what makes a healthy fucking relationship, because two people shouldn't be crawled up each other's asshole all the time. Nobody likes that. It's about the person naturally choosing you and loving you because that's the version of yourself that you are, and they naturally want to be with you and love you because you're fucking amazing. Not because you made a wish on a fucking One Wish Willow stick. They respect you. You build an incredible life together because you're two individual people coming together and being a partnership, not dependent on one or the other person, because that is never. You want someone who meets you where you are. You're on the same level, you've got the same goals, the same things, and then you go through life together at that same level, where not one person is depending on the other, you're depending on each other. It's mutual, it's equal, it's loving. And everyone who's manifesting, like when they start, and I want to make this clear, is like when people start, I think this is a lot of sometimes where the confusion is coming in for people who are new to community and feeling that deep. Because, if you're in that codependent relationship and then you break up and you've always been in codependent relationships, it feels like this. And so those people, when they get into manifesting, they feel like this. They feel like, not as extreme as in the movie, but like they feel like that dependency and things on people. And what manifestation teaches you to do is to be dependent on yourself so that you can have that loving, happy relationship. It's not about people being obsessed or forcing people or taking away people's free will. And I just want to make this very clear because I know how popular this movie is. And like I was doing a live a couple weeks ago and someone popped into the live and was like, you should watch Obsession. And I was like, I haven't even seen it yet, and it's already starting. It's already starting, and people are already upset and thinking that it relates to manifestation. Because when we're, when you're on live and you're talking about, someone's asking about free will or asking about manifesting an SP, and you're like, yeah, you can manifest that person, people are thinking this, they're thinking bad, they're thinking ick, they're thinking we're taking away people's free will, and that is never what is happening. That is never what a coach is teaching people to do in manifestation. And like you'll hear a lot of coaches will say they have no free will. They're only doing what you're reflecting. But what we're talking about is that everyone is a mirror to you. So the thoughts you think in your head is what's being reflected back to you. So what you're thinking is what happens out here. So when coaches are telling people they have no free will, what we're trying to explain to them is those shitty conversations you keep having with your SP because you're mad at them are the reason they can't show up right. Because you're continually staying in a thought process of this person is shitty, this person hurt me, this person doesn't love me, this person doesn't care about me. And so they don't. And so that is why that's why you hear like manifestation coaches constantly say things like they have no free will, because we're trying to explain that you are the cause of everything that is happening. So that shitty version of them is coming from you. So pick a better version. That's all that is. We're not trying to take people's free will away. We're not trying to duct tape people's doors closed and say where they can go and how they feel and what they do. That is not this at all. We are becoming the versions of ourselves who naturally get the things that we want. So the bigger lesson is a lot of people are actually accidentally, or actually, both work, manifesting from fear because they're thinking, don't leave, pick me, text me, think about me, miss me. And it's from a place of desperation. And I ain't saying this to be judgmental, because when I started this, that's how I felt. Desperate for love, desperate for having these feelings of having somebody love me and not understanding that it was all coming from me and that I couldn't give that love to myself and then no one could give me that love. So no matter how I showed up in relationships, I could be the best girlfriend in the world. I could keep my mouth shut even when I was upset and do all of the things, but I was always feeling like I wasn't chosen and I wasn't good enough because it came from me. And the reason I know it came from me is because it happened with multiple people over my whole entire life. Like friends, romantic relationships at work, like any kind of, like they would play out like this, and people like me, people want to hang out with me, they would think I was funny, and then all of a sudden things would occur that we couldn't be friends anymore or whatever, or our relationship wouldn't work out, and it never really made sense because it was just coming from my shitty thoughts. And so we're just deciding that we are those people who are worthy of love. So when you get into this, you might feel like it's based on desperation or obsession or needing somebody so bad, but what you actually learn is that you are the most important thing, and that's what we're teaching you. So we're actually teaching you the fucking opposite of obsession. We are teaching you the opposite. And so you don't have to be scared. You don't have to be scared if you watch that movie and you're thinking, oh my god, this is what manifestation is. I'm going to take away someone's free will and I'm going to have someone feeding me my cat, duct taping my door closed. Absolutely not. Even if you're saying my SB is obsessed with me, you believe that means they love you and not that they're cooking your cat and duct taping your door closed and smashing people's faces in with bricks, then it will be that way. Because, like I said, we're changing our states. We naturally attract the relationship we want. We're not taking away people's free will and making them do things. So you're deciding, I'm someone who's already worth an extraordinary love, right? Because thinking, don't leave, text me, pick me, think about me, miss me, those are based in desperation, they're based in ego, and they're based in the belief that you will be left and lost. Where you believe that I'm someone who is worthy of love and I'm worthy of being chosen, that creates peace and calmness and contentness, and it lets you love yourself and carry on through your life, as opposed to expecting that love to come from an outside source. Because if you are manifesting and you're still expecting that that feeling of love is going to come from outside of you, you won't get it. You need to give it to yourself first because it's your reflection. So when you love yourself unconditionally, when you love your specific person unconditionally, that gets reflected back to you. And loving your specific person unconditionally means that you're not having arguments with them in your head every 5 minutes because they pissed you off or the past or what they did. And something that's been helpful for me, I gave you a little tip here. You can think of reality. Have you ever had a lucid dream where you, like a dream where you knew you were dreaming? Because if you think of reality as a lucid dream, so if you've had a lucid dream and something really fucking weird or creepy could be happening in your dream, but as soon as you realize you're dreaming, you're like, ha, I'm dreaming. And everything is fine because you realize that you're in a dream and none of it matters. And then you don't feel scared, you don't feel anxious about whatever was going on in the dream. And the other thing is, usually when you pop into a dream, there's no really context. Like, there's no past or future. Like, sometimes I've had dreams where there's a little bit of more information that's in my head in the dream, but for the most part, it's just a scene, whatever's happening in that scene. And so if you were to look at reality as a lucid dream, you can kind of view it as like that past moment that happened that hurt you actually doesn't have to matter or hurt you because it's just a moment of a dream that you were in. It was just an experience, and now you're in this new experience in this new dream. So what are you going to create today? And so that was really helpful in not seeing things out here as so serious and so final, because a lot of people look at, their circumstances or things that have happened in the 3D, and then they decide, that's final, or I'm never getting my thing now. And if you can look at it kind of like, first of all, the past doesn't matter because the only moment is now, and time is a circle, and so the only moment is now. And if you want to go and find out more about time, you can watch my video on time slips and Tesla and all of that. But anyways, jumping back to what I was saying, so if you realize that the 3D is like a lucid dream, and you can kind of not take everything so seriously, and it'll just allow you to move through your life a little easier. Like, no one's looking for a golden retriever boyfriend who's crying because I took too long at Costco. I want an emotionally healthy adult, right? Like, when you learn about manifesting and you learn about what this actually is and you learn to love yourself, you realize that you don't want any of that stuff, right? So obsession is not manifestation. You do not have to be worried. You don't have to think we're taking away people's free will. There's no evil manifestation creators over here fucking giving out one wish willows to people so that they can have that going on. It's just becoming the version of ourselves who naturally will be in the relationship we want because that's who we are. And I just think there's so many people on the internet who misunderstand manifestation, misunderstand what it is. They pop into a live, they hear someone say no one has free will, they hear someone say you can manifest whoever you want, and they think that, people are controlling people, that we're taking away free will, that this is like witchcraft or magic or like evil or any of those things, when the truth of it is, what we're trying to do is become our unconditional loving selves, which is a beautiful thing, right? If the truth of manifestation is to become the version of yourself who truly understands what unconditional love is and understands that we are source and that everything that happens is reflected from our own consciousness. And once you understand that, you understand how important you are and that everything outside of you is just an experience you're selecting. So you select those experiences to reflect this unconditional loving version of yourself. And so nobody who knows manifesting or understands what it is or is really doing it wants anything to fucking do with obsession besides watching the movie for entertainment, because like I said, it was fucking fantastic. Made my sister watch it immediately. I've tried to get other people to watch it. My problem is all of my friends at work do not like horror movies, so I'll be like, watch this horror movie, and I only like the horror movies that devastatingly scare people because then I like them, because nothing scares me because I just love horror movies. So I try to get her to watch it, and she like sees the part where she like fucking walks backwards, and she's like, "Nope, can't watch it." And I was like, "God damn it! I just want you to talk about how crazy she is with me, because you would love it." Like my sister's texting me watching it with her husband, and she's like, "We're howling," and I was like, "I knew you'd love it. I knew you'd love it. She's so crazy." And like I know people. I also know I might get some flack if people watch this. Because I know people are mad about people laughing about it, but I'm laughing like, holy fuck, they did such a good job, because horror movies excite me. I'm not laughing because I'm like, enjoy people's pain. I just told you I practice unconditional love. It's entertainment, and it's just, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I loved it. I thought it was a fantastic horror movie. I thought it brought up a lot of great topics that we can talk about in the light of manifestation, and understand that that's not what anyone is doing, and you don't have to be worried if you hear someone, if someone hears you manifesting and they try to compare you to this. That's not what's happening. That's not what you're doing, and you don't have to feel like that, because I've already seen on TikTok, like, the movie just got released, like, it was in the theater, but like it just got released onto like Prime, like streaming services and stuff, like, I don't know, this week, and already I can see, well, there's all the people talking about, all their theories, and then arguing about how it's bad on women, and there's all of those topics. But then I've also already seen people coming in to talk about manifestation and free will, and this is what people who are manifesting are doing, and we don't need any more negativity be brought into the community, because we've already got enough assholes here saying stuff that is not true or doesn't mean anything. And if you're saying your SP is obsessed with you, this isn't gonna happen to you. That's crazy. Unless you really believe that it's gonna happen to you. Because I guess the truth is, whatever you really believe to be true is true, but you've got to become the version of yourself who naturally attracts those things. You can't. There's no one wish, Willow. There's no secret wish. There's no, I wish for $1 billion. It just... So, go watch the movie, enjoy it, it's entertainment, and know that nobody in the manifestation community is trying to take away people's free will or make them love them more than they love themselves. Nobody's trying to do that. At least the people who are teaching are not trying to do that. Are there people in the world, I'm sure, who are confused about how this works, who are trying to do spells and things like that? Sure. I'm sure there is, but that's not what the manifestation community is doing, and that's not what manifestation coaches are talking about, and I just really wanted to nip this in the butt, because I can already tell that people are going to be confused. So don't be confused. Bye!